She stared at her phone as the message appeared again. Still at work. Don't wait. Across the city, laughter echoed inside a restaurant. At table 7, a waiter hesitated, holding a receipt, because one lie was about to destroy everything. If you believe small moments can change lives, stay with this story. Like the video, subscribe, and listen closely. Because the truth often arrives when we least expect it. At first, nothing feels wrong enough to name. Life continues as usual, but small details begin to shift. The husband's messages grow shorter. Where there were once warm words, now there are quick replies. Busy. Late meeting. Talk tomorrow. Phone calls end faster than before. Some nights, the phone stays silent for hours. When she asks gently, he explains everything away with work pressure and deadlines. She wants to believe him, so she does. Friends notice she looks tired. They tell her she worries too much, that hard work changes people. She agrees, even when her chest feels tight for no clear reason. There are moments when her instincts speak up. A late reply, a strange tone, a forgotten promise. Each time, she pushes the thought aside. She reminds herself that trust means patience, that love means not questioning every delay. That doubt can destroy good marriages. So she stays quiet. She keeps dinner warm. She answers messages with care. But deep inside, something has changed. Not enough to cause a fight. Not enough to walk away. Just enough to make her heart feel less safe than it used to. And without realizing it, the foundation begins to crack. One evening, the routine breaks quietly. The husband sends the same message again. I'll be late. Don't wait. She reads it twice. There is no anger in her reaction, only a slow, heavy tiredness. For the first time in a long while, she does not reply right away. The house feels too silent that night. The walls seem to hold unanswered questions. She realizes she does not want to sit alone with her thoughts. So she makes a small decision. Nothing dramatic, nothing planned. She changes her clothes, chooses something simple and modest, and steps outside. The air feels cooler than expected, as if the night itself is watching. She walks into a nearby restaurant she has passed many times but never entered. It is not loud, not fancy, just warm lights, soft voices, and the clink of plates. She asks for a table for one. As she sits down, she notices couples laughing, families sharing food, strangers passing moments together. Everyone seems to belong somewhere. She orders quietly and places her phone face down on the table. For once, she does not want to stare at it, waiting for a message that may never come. While waiting for her meal, a familiar sound reaches her ears. A laugh. It is not loud, not obvious, just familiar enough to make her pause. Her body reacts before her mind does. Her shoulders tense, her breathing slows. She tells herself it is nothing. Cities are full of familiar voices. Memories play tricks when people are tired. She looks down at the table again. But then she hears it once more. A sentence spoken in a tone she knows too well. A tone she has heard late at night, over hurried phone calls. Her fingers tighten around the edge of the table. She does not turn around. Not yet. Instead, she watches the waiter move between tables. She notices how one table receives extra attention. Laughter flows easily there. The energy feels different. That table is table 7. She tells herself not to look. She tells herself that trust means control. That suspicion can humiliate a person more than truth. Her phone vibrates. A message appears. I'm still at work. The words feel heavier than they should. She stares at the screen, then slowly lifts her eyes. Her gaze drifts, not searching, not accusing, just curious. And for a brief second, She sees him from the side. Not clearly, not fully, just enough. Her heart does not race. It drops. The world around her fades into background noise. The restaurant lights feel too bright. The air feels thin. She looks away immediately, hoping she is wrong, hoping this is just exhaustion playing games with her mind. She takes a sip of water. Her hands shake slightly. This can't be real, she tells herself. But something inside her already knows. The waiter approaches her table with her order. He pauses for a moment longer than necessary. His eyes flick toward table 7, then back to her. He opens his mouth as if to speak, then closes it. She notices. People who have lived with silence learn to notice hesitation. The waiter places the plate down gently. "Is everything okay?" he asks softly. She nods. "Yes. Thank you." But he does not walk away right away. He looks torn, as if standing between doing his job and doing the right thing. She feels it before she hears it. The moment before truth enters a room. And somewhere between her untouched meal and table 7, the night shifts, from ordinary to unforgettable. The waiter remains near her table longer than necessary. He adjusts the edge of a napkin, straightens a fork that does not need fixing. Small movements meant to delay a choice. She notices his hands shaking slightly. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The space between them feels heavier than words. She looks up at him, not demanding, not suspicious. Just present. "Is everything all right?" she asks again, her voice calm. The waiter swallows. "Yes, yes, of course," he replies, but his eyes betray him. They flick once more toward table 7. She follows his gaze without turning her head fully, only enough to understand what he means. Her chest tightens. The waiter lowers his voice. "I don't usually do this," he says carefully. "I'm not supposed to." She listens. "Some people deserve to know the truth," he continues, "and sometimes silence feels wrong." Her heart beats louder in her ears, but her face remains still. She has spent too long mastering calm. He hesitates again, then leans slightly closer. "The man at table 7, he says, barely above a whisper. "He's been here before. Always at the same time. Always saying he's busy." The words land slowly, like stones dropping into water. She does not interrupt. She does not ask questions. The waiter glances around to make sure no one is listening. "There's someone with him," he adds. "They seem comfortable, familiar." Her fingers press into her palm. She thinks of the messages, the late nights, the quiet dinners at home. Still, she gives the truth one last chance to be a misunderstanding. "Are you sure?" she asks gently. The waiter nods. "I wouldn't speak if I wasn't." He straightens up, as if preparing himself for the consequences. "I'm sorry," he says. "I just thought you should know." He steps back, giving her space. The restaurant noise returns, but it sounds distant now. Laughter blends into clinking glasses. Life continues around her, unaware that something has broken. She looks down at her plate. The food is untouched. Her appetite has disappeared. Her phone vibrates again. "I'll be home late. Don't wait up." The message feels cruel now. She does not cry. Not yet. Instead, she takes a slow breath and stands up. Her legs feel weak, but they carry her. Each step toward table 7 feels unreal, like walking through water. The waiter watches from a distance, concern written across his face. He does not follow. This part is hers alone. As she gets closer, the sounds become clearer. The laughter, the ease, the intimacy. She stops just short of the table. There he is, her husband, sitting comfortably, smiling in a way she has not seen in months. Across from him sits another woman, leaning in, listening. Time seems to pause. No one notices her at first. And in that moment, before words, before confrontation, she understands something painful and final. The lie did not begin tonight. It simply ended here. And the truth, once seen, cannot be unseen. For a few seconds, she simply stands there, not frozen, grounded. She watches them the way one watches a scene from far away, even while standing close. The smiles, the leaning forward, the shared silence that does not need words. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, and that makes it worse. Her husband is speaking softly, his tone relaxed, the kind of tone he once used at home, late at night, when the world felt safe. The woman across from him laughs gently. She touches the edge of the table as if she belongs there. This is not a first meeting. This is not accidental. Her mind moves faster than her heart. She remembers every delayed reply, every cancelled plan, every night she waited. The pieces fall into place without effort. The truth does not rush at her. It settles. The waiter approaches table 7 with a careful step, holding a receipt. His presence breaks the bubble. "Excuse me," he says politely. Her husband looks up and sees her. The color drains from his face. For a brief moment, he does not recognize the situation. Then understanding hits him all at once. His mouth opens, closes. No words come. The woman at the table turns, confused. Her smile fades as she takes in the scene. Silence spreads. The surrounding tables sense something is wrong. Forks pause midair. Conversations soften. She speaks first. Not loudly. Not angrily. "Are you still at work?" she asks. The question is simple, deadly in its calm. Her husband swallows. He looks around, as if searching for an exit that does not exist. "I can explain," he begins. She raises a hand slightly, not to silence him, but to slow him. "Just answer," she says. He does not. The answer is already sitting at the table. The waiter places the receipt down carefully. "I'll give you a moment," he says, then steps away. The other woman shifts uncomfortably. She looks from him to her, realizing too late what role she has played. "I didn't know," the woman says quickly. "I swear." She believes her. This is not the woman who broke her trust. This is the lie speaking through him. Her husband finally looks at her fully. Guilt, fear, and panic mix in his eyes. "It's not what it looks like," he says. She almost laughs. "It's exactly what it looks like," she replies. Her voice does not shake. Her hands remain steady. "I waited," she continues. "I believed you. Every time." The words land softly, but they cut deeply. People nearby pretend not to listen, but they hear everything. The woman at the table stands up, embarrassed and shaken. "I'm sorry," she repeats, then walks away without looking back. Now it is just the two of them. He reaches for her hand. She steps back. That movement says more than any sentence. "You told me you were working," she says. "You told me not to wait." He lowers his eyes. "I didn't think you'd find out like this." The honesty comes too late. She nods slowly. "That's the part you're sorry about," she says. "Not the lie, just being seen." He has no reply. Around them, the restaurant slowly returns to life. Plates clink again. Voices rise. But for her, the world has changed shape. She looks at him one last time. Not with anger, with clarity. Then she turns away. Because the truth has already been revealed, and nothing else needs to be said. She does not leave the restaurant right away. Instead, she takes a step back from the table and stands there, steady and silent. The moment is no longer about surprise. It is about truth. Her husband rises slowly from his chair, unsure whether he should follow or stay. The confidence he once carried is gone. In its place stands a man exposed. "Please," he says quietly, "let me explain." She looks at him, really looks at him, for the first time that night. Not as her husband, not as the man she trusted, just as someone standing in front of her. "Explain what?" she asks. "The messages? The waiting? Or the lie you practiced every night?" Her tone remains calm, but every word lands with weight. He opens his mouth again, then closes it. Excuses line up behind his eyes, but none feel safe enough to release. "I was tired," he finally says. "Work was stressful. Things got confusing." She tilts her head slightly. "Stress doesn't teach someone how to lie," she replies. "It only shows who they become under pressure." A nearby table goes quiet. People sense this is not a scene meant for shouting. It is sharper than that. He reaches for his pocket, pulls out his phone. "I was going to tell you," he says. "I just needed time." She nods once. "You had time," she says. "You used it to disappear." The words leave no room for argument. He steps closer, lowering his voice. "We can fix this. Don't do this here." She does not move back, but she does not move closer either. "There is nothing to fix," she says. "Fixing is for accidents. This was a choice." Her calm frightens him more than anger would have. "I stayed quiet for months," she continues. "I defended you when doubt showed up. I trusted you when you gave me reasons not to." She pauses, allowing the truth to breathe. "You didn't just lie to me," she says. "You trained me to doubt myself." That is the moment his face changes, because he knows it is true. The waiter stands at a distance, pretending to clean a nearby table, listening just enough to stay alert. He does not interfere. Her husband lowers his voice further. "Let's talk at home." She shakes her head slowly. "Home was where you should have told the truth," she replies. "Not a restaurant, not a stranger." He rubs his face, frustration leaking through guilt. "I made a mistake," he says. She meets his eyes. "No," she corrects him. "A mistake is forgetting. This was remembering every night and lying anyway. The difference matters." She reaches into her bag and places something on the table. Not dramatic, not symbolic. Her house key. The sound it makes is small, but final. "I won't argue," she says. "I won't beg. And I won't stay." His breath catches. "You're really leaving," he whispers. She nods. "Not because you chose someone else," she says, "but because you chose dishonesty." She turns, walking toward the exit with controlled steps. Each one feels heavy, but right. Behind her, he calls her name. She does not turn around. Some endings do not need closure. They need distance. And as the door closes behind her, the confrontation ends. Not with shouting, but with the quiet power of self-respect. The door closes behind her with a soft sound. Not loud, not dramatic, just final. She steps outside, and the night air greets her face. It feels colder than before, but cleaner, as if the world has been waiting for her to breathe again. For a moment, she stands still on the sidewalk. Cars pass. People walk by, unaware that a life has just shifted. Her hands begin to shake. Only now. She presses them together, grounding herself. She does not cry yet. She allows the strength to carry her a little further. She walks without direction at first. One step, then another. Each step takes her farther from the lie, even though the truth still hurts. Her phone vibrates in her bag. She already knows who it is. She does not check it. Some messages arrive too late to matter. Her mind replays the moment at the table, the look on his face, the silence, the way everything fell apart so neatly. Not chaotic, just exposed. She realizes something important as she walks. She is not embarrassed. The shame was never hers. People inside the restaurant will forget the scene by tomorrow. They will remember the food, the laughter, their own lives. But she will remember this night as the moment she chose herself. She reaches a small park and sits on a bench. The street light above hums softly. The world continues, indifferent but steady. Her breath finally breaks. Tears come, not in waves, but quietly. Tears for the time she gave, for the trust she protected, for the woman she was before doubt crept in. She allows herself to feel it fully. Pain does not scare her anymore. Staying would have hurt more. She wipes her face and looks up at the sky. There are no answers written there, only space. And space is what she needs. She thinks about the nights she waited, the meals eaten alone, the messages she defended. None of it was wasted. It taught her something. Love should never make a person smaller. Truth should never need proof. Her phone vibrates again. This time she takes it out. Several missed calls. Messages stacked on top of each other. She reads none of them. Instead, she opens her settings and turns the phone off. The silence feels powerful. For the first time in months, she is not waiting. She sits there until her breathing slows, until her heart finds a new rhythm. It is uneven, but it is hers. When she stands again, her legs feel stronger. She knows tonight will not be easy. Tomorrow will not be easy either. But clarity has replaced confusion. And clarity, she knows, is the beginning of freedom. She walks away from the bench and into the street light, not looking back. Because walking away is not losing. It is choosing a life where truth is no longer optional. The days after that night move slowly. There are no dramatic scenes, no sudden apologies that change everything, just quiet mornings and long thoughts. She stays with someone she trusts for a while. She keeps her routine simple. Sleep comes in pieces, but it comes. Her husband reaches out again and again. Messages filled with regret. Promises shaped by fear of loss. She reads none of them. Not because she is cruel, but because clarity does not argue with confusion. In the quiet, she begins to see the past clearly. The signs she ignored. The moments she explained away. She does not blame herself anymore. Trust was never her weakness. It was her strength. She learns that love does not require endurance of disrespect. That loyalty should never mean silence in pain. That honesty is not something a person earns. It is something they deserve. Weeks pass. The weight in her chest eases. Not because the hurt is gone, but because it no longer controls her. She starts doing small things again. Morning walks. Music she stopped playing. Meals she actually tastes. Each small choice rebuilds something inside her. She understands now that the truth did not ruin her life. It revealed it. The waiter's pause, the table, the lie. They were not the end. They were the beginning of self-respect. Some people fear walking away because they confuse familiarity with safety. But she learned that safety lives where honesty exists. And sometimes, the bravest thing a person can do is leave a place where they are no longer seen. This story is not about betrayal alone. It is about listening to the quiet voice that knows when something is wrong. It is about choosing dignity over comfort, truth over excuses, peace over pretending. Because when someone finally stops waiting for a lie to change, they make room for a life that does not require pretending. And that lesson stays. Long after the restaurant closes, long after Table 7 is cleared. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs strength today. Subscribe for more real, emotional stories that remind us of self-worth. And remember, when respect disappears, walking away is not weakness. It's courage.